Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk Thursday. I'm excited to be with you guys again. We're going to be taking a look at the market, just doing a quick overview, quick update on what is going on. Then we're going to take a look at what was hot and what was not last week. Then we're going to take a look at what is hot and not this week. And I got a special surprise for you on that one. So without anything further, let me go ahead and share my screen. And like always, guys, I'd love for this to be interactive with you guys. It's always better when you're putting in your comments and your questions. So whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and just, pop in questions and comments you got in there, and love to, go back and forth with you guys. That's always a lot more fun. And I think you guys get more out of it too. So anyway, here we go. Here's the market. And like I've been saying before, it is a squirrel market. And that's exactly what we've got. Thing has come down, hit the 4,300 level, moved up, had a double top M form, and that did follow through here, broke that, short support line, and moved down, then popped back up, put in what kind of looks like a kiss goodbye right now with a big solid candlestick today. So big down day on the overall market, and popped this line in today. A little bit of an uptrending line that could be part of a pennant wedge, which just even points more to the squirrel market, because it's like, which direction are we going to go here? So tomorrow we could honestly see a pretty big answer if we get some more follow through to the downside. And then the next question is, well, are we going to break the 4,300 level and kind of establish ourselves in a downtrend? Or are we going to still stay squirrely and like, oh, what's going on? So the squirrel market still hasn't really tipped its hand as to exactly what it wants to do. And that's where we are. It's hard because we don't have an edge. So let's take a look at what was hot last week, because even within the squirrel market, there are some charts out there that are still tradable. They're still repeatable, reliable, and just overall tradable. Like you can still work with them. And APA was our hot stock from last week, and that is one of those that we could look at as well. Let me change that real quick here. Let's go into there. Perfect. Sweet. So let's take a look at this. So APA, is moving up, had a couple bounces off the 50. Actually, it had a one last week, or when we were looking at it last week. But then just a couple days ago on Tuesday, looked like it put in another bounce off the 50. So still holding up on its overall pattern. Let me zoom out again. As you can see, it's just moving from the bottom left of our screen to the top right of our screen. So that's just overall uptrend. Nothing crazy going on this one. APA still holding its own as a fairly hot stock when you really take all things into consideration. All right, let's take a look at what was not hot last week. That was TWOU. And, well, there you go. There you have it. Top left of our screen to the bottom right of our screen. So is getting killed and over earnings. Look at that gap down, that move down. And it did pull back up. Stocks will tend to do this after a really big move down. They'll tend to move up towards that 5 EMA, and from there it's kind of a fork in the road. Do they keep getting pushed down like it has been over here in this area, or do they decide to change the pattern? But we've got some strategies built around moves like this right here. So there are, even though this is a not hot stock, there are tradable patterns in here. So to the one that has skills, that might be a hot stock. You never know, right? Okay, let's take a look at what is hot right now. And we're going to go ahead and do our normal way of looking at this. And I want to look at just the last week. Really just want to take a look at what is hot in the last week. So to do that, we look at our sector chart again, looking at just the last week here. And consumer defensive is the clear winner there. Yeah, energy was up a little bit. Energy has been winning a lot lately. So we're going to take a look at consumer defensive here. And we're going to pull up our heat map, turn that to weekly as well. Choose consumer defensive. And let's take a look and see, well, what are, there's three of them that stick out to me. Like, oh, this one's super green, that one's super green, and that one's also super green. So, in the last week or so, that one's up 6.5%. You can see right in the middle of that white pop-up box there, percentage change, 6.5. Kraft Heinz, 10.24%. And then Newell Brands, look at that, 18% change in the last week. So that's going to be our winner for today. Let's go take a look at Newell and let's break it down. All right. So, you look at this and like, well, a lot of last year or most of last year, it was in a downtrend. It really wasn't that hot. And you'd be right. Look at this. It's just been kind of downtrending. But remember, today we are only looking at the last week. What has been happening the last week. And it is very, very clear to see. I mean, you don't have to look far here. This has been obviously a big move up. So let's zoom in on this right here. Had this big downtrend, and then it looks like earnings kind of kicked it off. They had a really solid earnings report, estimating 33 cents per share of profit, and they actually made 42 cents. So really solid earnings report, and obviously the stock reacted with that, moving from about 22 all the way up to about 26 area. Really just shot up like a rocket, and that's what a solid earnings report can do for you. I mean, they beat earnings by, you look at this and you're like, well, I mean, it's 9 cents. Okay, yeah, it's 9 cents, but look at that from a percentage point of view, right? You're nearly a 30% beating of your earnings expectations. So that's pretty significant. So even though it's only 9 cents, you got to keep in mind the overall picture of what you're doing percentage wise. So really big move up. Is this tradable right now? Well, I would want to see it pull back. It's almost too hot. We picked a hot one here. It's almost too hot. I want to see it pull back and maybe bounce up off the 10 EMA or some other level, maybe this price level right here at about 24.5, because that was resistance back here. Maybe that could be support and then bounce. So, but just right now, I mean, stocks tend to kind of pull back a little bit after a big move. So I want that to happen first before I were to jump in. All right, let's take a look at what is not hot right now. And we're going to use our same process right in here. Take a look at the last week. So a lot of sectors are not hot. The overall market's just not been hot. But what is the one that really stands out? And that would be financial services. So let's take a look at financial services. We're set to a week time frame again. Boom, financial services, and lots to choose from here. But I went ahead and I chose PayPal. PayPal looking at an 11.5% decrease in the last week. So let's take a look at PayPal. Oof. Okay, so this obviously is not only is it not hot in the last week, PayPal has been not hot for months and months right now. Up here in the summer, we were over $300 a share, and we've cut that into a third almost right now. We're down to 105.60. So I mean, this is the definition of not hot right here. Just getting bogged down, and look at that. I mean, even earnings pretty good there. Last earnings, decent, beat it out by 6 cents. So it's probably about 7% right there where they beat earnings expectations. But look at that drop right there. I mean, that was a pretty big drop. Not a Facebook drop from a couple of weeks ago, if you remember that, but that's still a really, really pretty sizable drop. And I found it interesting. Let's take a look at where this was just even at the beginning of the month. So that's right up here, beginning of the month. February feels like it just started, right? We're already halfway through it. Well, February started, and we look at where we are now, and PayPal's lost 40% of its valuation in the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half. So that is why PayPal is not hot. And the entire, since the gap down there with the earnings report, it has not been above the 5-day. It's just getting pushed down by the 5-day. And you've heard me say before, a stock that just keeps getting pushed down by the 5-day is obviously not a hot stock. So that's your not hot stock for the day. Now, I came across another ticker literally less than an hour ago. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. I got to put that one up there too. So I'm going to share this one with you guys. And this one is hot. And we're going to talk a little bit about this right here. It is simply gold. Now, yes, we are talking about the precious metal, but this is also a ticker for Barrick Gold Corporation. And they're essentially a company that works with precious metals. And let's take a look at what this gold chart has been doing. And a lot of these gold companies or silver companies, their chart will closely follow what the actual gold prices are as well. So there will be pretty significant resemblance. So, gold for a lot of the last year just kind of doing its thing, not really too inspiring. And then you take a look at the last few days, and you're like, whoa, okay, what is going on here? I mean, this rocket just launched. So, those are some really strong moves up on higher volume. Obviously, earnings has something to do with that. Beat out earnings by, 5 cents there, about, was that 16% or something like that? That it beat out earnings. So decent there, but just really a solid move up. And, let's take a look and think about this, right? So the way things are in the world for these days and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of chaos going on. And oftentimes those things will bring an increased value to precious metals. We're not going to look at silver today, but I would suspect that silver is also up over the last few days. So there's definitely some very interesting price action going on in there. And even in this chart alone, there's so much to dissect. I mean, we've got, kind of a cup and handle action going here, small handle, but definitely followed through as you would expect a cup and handle. And if you don't know what that is totally okay. Cup and handle is pretty advanced pattern out there that we teach in some of our courses. So if you're interested in that, feel free to send in an email to support@tradeway.com. We would love to be able to, get you more information on any of this trading that you're looking at, or if you have any questions, we'd love to help you with that. Or, even if you just have questions about precious metals in general. We haven't talked about this on Stock Talk Thursday yet, but Tradeway does have a precious metals division, and Ben Mitchell is the one who heads that up, and he's done all the research that you would need to know who are reputable dealers to go to, who are the right people to talk to, who won't take advantage of you, because unfortunately within precious metals there's a lot of people out there that do not have your best interest in mind. But Ben has already done all the deep dive into researching who's good and who isn't within the precious metals. And so he's got all that information. So if you have any questions about precious metals or you'd like to learn more, same thing, feel free to send in an email to support@tradeway.com, and we'd love to help you out with that. That's going to wrap it up for today's Stock Talk Thursday. I'll be on with you next week from California. We'll be traveling down there, but I'm still going to be on with you. You'll see a little bit of a different background next week, and we will see you next week.